One thing I'm interested in, and let me kind of get them out of the way, is the evolution of the platform. And that's an interesting way to look at them. So the original guy was all internal tools, nothing on the outside. The plier and the tools were all contained inside the tool. So that's the original way, the way the tool was designed. Halfway through the development of all their lineup, they introduced the wave. So the wave now has, some of the large tools are now outside. So you have the blade outside, you have a file, another blade, you have a saw. Now obviously this become one-handed tools. So this guy can compete with a folding knife in functionality. So this is the middle step, second step, let's say, in their evolution. Sort of like a mix, 50-50, half the tool out, half the tool inside, partially one-handed, partially two-handed. The final evolution in this sort of lineup is the one-handed tool. This guy has everything on the outside. Every single tool, including the plier head, is accessible from the outside. And that applies to kind of like, I guess, I would say a specific way of using a tool. Like if you're doing real work in real life, chances are you're holding on to something, you have like a package to open, you have something you want to turn or screw or whatever it is. It really used to piss me off to put down everything I was working on, get this guy out, open it halfway, take out the tool, deploy it, close it back up, and then get to my work. That it slows you down, and sometimes you cannot afford to put down whatever you're working on. You might actually set you back in your real work because of the way this thing is developed. So that's when I started to enjoy having, say, some of the tools on the outside and being one-handed. That keeps the workflow without interruptions. So that's why this is a favorable introduction in the lineup. It's a good evolution. And building on to that, then you go into this file, which has literally everything on the outside. The knife, your saw is on the outside, the screwdrivers, the can opener. So literally whatever tool you have, you can get to it with one hand. So it's not a 50-50 anymore. It's fully 100% single-handed opening. So that's one way to look at the Leatherman multi-tools. And everything on the table will fall into one of these general three platforms. Very popular, I guess, is the 50-50 because the knife is on the outside, you can get to it pretty fast, and that's usually what people like, is the knife. This one, in order to get everything to be on the outside, they had to make some compromises. So you're getting a huge tool, it's 4.5, with a very tiny blade, with very few tools on it. It doesn't have the same variety as the other ones, and especially the length in the tools is also compromised. So it's specialized in the way that it works. So you're getting a specific result, which is the one-hand only operation, but the other things have to be compromised. And we were talking about the other day, you were saying how this is, it feels more like a prototype than a final product. Perhaps future generations will have a better design applied to them.
There's only so much you can do though with physical technology. With computers and digital stuff, it's like there is no limit. But with this, if you make it too small, it ceases to be useful. It's harder to hit that sweet spot. I honestly don't think they'll ever find a better design than what they have there, the 50-50, like you said.
Yeah, so you like the mixed, like you're happy to get to the knife right away, but if you have to use a screwdriver, it doesn't have to be like immediately accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, this is just one way to look at them, and that's the general platform between these three type of tools.
Why doesn't this close fully? Is it supposed to be?
Again, just the design is the compromise they had to make in order to have this design. Now, here's a word that's critical, and I never heard it anywhere. This is a folding plier, right? It folds. This is a telescopic plier. It comes out. It doesn't fold. I never heard this being mentioned anywhere in any video, any Leatherman, whatever. So it is copyrighted to Blade Lock, 2014. Yes. But anyway, that's the language I use to describe this tool is telescopic. One thing comes out of the other. It's more like, it's closer to an out the front automatic knife than to a folding knife. That's the same difference.